Hands together for Mr. Sean Hayes.
The Pittsburgh show is going to be a Twilight roast show. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. You should really dive to it. So I've been in customer service for 40 years, not to top Carrie, and this story takes place 38 years ago. And I'm going to show you a picture of what I looked like 38 years ago so you understand who was getting yelled at. I think it's really important. The picture will come. So I worked at McDonald's back in the 80s when I was a kid, starting at 15 and a half. You know what's funny is I had to subtract 15 and a half from 55 and a half to figure out that it was 40 years. I'm in customer service. I don't teach calculus. I don't know. If Excel in my calculator can't figure out, how can I figure it out? Yeah, look at me. This child here never knew he's grown up to be the bear I am today. He had confidence. He had confidence at McDonald's, but his dad would make him cry if he just looked at him the right way. Yeah, he would yell at his general manager, who was known for beating up guests outside of the trash can. Yeah, he'd still yell at him, complete confidence, yeah. And ran that fucking McDonald's. I made $4.25 an hour. And I did scheduling and hiring and orientations, and I opened the restaurant in the morning. You're not supposed to have a 16, 17-year-old. I was 17 years old, opened the restaurant. No, it's like against being charged of the whole thing. Yeah. Anyways, isn't he adorable? Yeah. A little Spandau Ballet haircut. I forgot to dye. This is when puberty made my hair dark, and I was really angry. But you know, I got through it. We can get rid of the picture now. You get the point. I was adorable. And then, so this one day we were packed, and this is again when like bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits had just come out, and they were really popular. And like any good McDonald's, this one morning we were short-staffed, but I was so efficient. And this was back when they wrapped the food. It isn't like now where they kept the food hot and then they assembled it when you ordered it. No, we made it and assembled and like wrapped it and then filled this bin. So on this day, normally you're supposed to have a person calling back the food and wrapping the food, and then you had someone running the drive-thru, because our drive-thru had a hallway, so we had to run it and send it to a conveyor belt. And then we were supposed to have like 3 or 4 people on the register. And I had 2 people on the register, and each line had like 35 people or so in it. One of those registers was being manned by, and by the way, none of these names are made up because I don't do that. I love Mexicans. They're the best workers. So Jose, who was my maintenance guy and was supposed to be mopping the lobby and like cleaning the bathrooms and doing stuff, I had him on a register. Like that's how slow it was. I felt really bad. But like everything was actually, like I wasn't in the weeds, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't behind, like I had all my bacon, egg, and cheese biscuits ready. I had egg McMuffins, like everything was ready. Hash browns were cooking, and I was had to cook the hash browns. So normally there's a person there cooking hash browns, a person wrapping, and then like a manager controlling things, and like 3 registers. There were 2 registers and me. And I was so excited. I was so adorable. I forgot to breathe. Suddenly I'm running the drive-thru, like the kitchen's going, they've got plenty of food, like it's amazing, and I had an amazing staff, and there was no other managers on. I don't know why. It's a Saturday morning, why should we have any other managers on? So all of a sudden I hear this guy like screaming and yelling, and like he like threw his hand down and his wallet went flying, and I'm like, great, some asshole who like hates Jose because he can't speak English, which would just piss me off. Like that kid even then was the type of manager where the employee could go out and shit on a customer, and I would still back that employee and be like, sorry, everything they do is correct, and that's how it's done. You know, I'd be like, I will back anybody up, especially if they were Mexican and you were being a dick, because it was either they were the Mexican and they were really, really hard, or they were upper white middle class, because I lived in Huntington Beach. Think Carmel. Yeah. And those kids don't know how to work. Yeah. One time I had an employee who stole a shake. Like, you were allowed to get drinks, but he stole a shake. And I was like, no, we don't do that. Anyways, he was a twin. He was white. It was awful. He was the twin where one day he wasn't listening to another manager, and I said, if you don't start listening to that manager, I'm not suspending you because I know you hate working here. I'm gonna make you come in at 4 a.m. and work with me Sunday and Saturday morning. So he started listening. Yeah. That's how you do it. Don't suspend. Like, the kids want to be suspended. And I was like in the same high school he was. But, so this guy is like screaming and yelling, and I'm going back, like, I'm running the drive-thru, I'm like wrapping food, give me 12 more, like, dos huevos, por favor, the cheese, and I spoke very good McDonald's Spanish. Running the drive-thru, yeah. And this guy's screaming and yelling, I'm like, what is the deal? So I go over to him, and he's like, I need a burger. I'm like, it's 8:30 in the morning, have you not been to a McDonald's before? We won't even talk about burgers until like 10:30. Like, we don't even think about them. No one cares. We need a little break. You're not getting one. And he's still screaming, and I'm still running, and I'm just like stressing and doing all this stuff. And then, and he's like, well, in Russia, I can get a burger at 8:30 in the morning. And I'm like, okay. No, I don't like to, I like to control myself. Like, even that kid knew, like, you've got to be a little patient. Don't yell out things. And we were in the middle of the Cold War in the 80s, so we hated Russians, right? So I was being verbally attacked by a Russian. Like, I was fighting the Cold War. I did it for you all, just so you know. Reagan might have brought down that wall, but I was putting in a good fight. And so, like, he yells, like, in Russia I can get a burger. So I'm like, as I'm running, like, I ran over and I remember distinctly, I ran over and I got the Danish for somebody, and then I was like getting their Egg McMuffin, and then their hash brown, and then I'm dropping more hash browns, and then I'm doing the thing, the drive-through bag, and I'm like, go back to Russia then. And then I was like, oh, that's not very nice. That's not the person I want to be, But highly appropriate for, like, 1985. War Games was popular. We were all afraid of nuclear war. We were all going to die, especially in Southern California. We would have all died. So, and he just kept going, and he just kept yelling and, like, smacking his hand down on the counter and doing all this stuff. And I was just like, ugh, why don't you just leave? Like, I'd reached the point where I'm like, you should just go. Like, why are you still here? I don't have time for this. And I had such an amazing staff. So at one point, the man finally, I don't know what happened. I don't know what he ate or what he got, but he finally went and sat down at a table. And then he came over and he wanted to talk to me. And the way the counter was, we had the counter and then there was a space at the end. And there was like a big Danish holder and then the space. And he came over and he's like, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, no, you can't fucking talk to me. I didn't say fucking. I would have now, like, if it was today. Like, that kid today would be like, fuck you. Like, back then he was like, I do customer service. Now I'm like, I just want to sit at home and be left alone, which is what I do. Work from home, it's great. Anyway, so he comes over and he's like, can I talk to you for a minute? I'm like, no, you cannot talk to me for a minute. And so I did exactly what he did. I'm like, I want you to get out of my store. And I banged my hand on the counter and I want you to leave. I don't have time for you. Get out, you're yelling at my employees. I don't want you here. Why are you still here? You can't have a burger. Get out. I just want you to leave. And then he's like, do you want me to call the police? I'm like, yes, because I don't have time. I'm like, here's the phone, it's 911. Like, go ahead. Like, if I had the time, I would do it. Do you see what I'm doing over here? I'm like 4 people's jobs. I have to go wrap those fucking Egg McMuffins before they get cold. I only have 10 minutes. What are we doing? I got to get a drive-through order. They got to be out in 3 minutes. And which was great was my employees, who, by the way, were all related and from the same small village in Mexico. And they were great. They all stepped up. Someone came out from the grill, was cooking hash browns and wrapping food. So I was so excited, I was so angry. So it was really nice. And when I tell this in stand-up, I always say like it ended like a Ferris Bueller movie, like everyone's going, USA, USA, but the whole time that's not really what happened. Kind of, but not really. It'd be great if it had, I deserved a huge applause. Again, I was fighting the Cold War for you. Thank you. You're welcome. So the whole time I'm like, oh my God, this is just so embarrassing. Like, I'm screaming, I'm yelling, I'm losing control, I'm banging my hand on the counter, like yelling at this guy. Like, I was like, call the police. Like, everything that happens, it was really bad. So then you reach the point as a manager, you're like, what's next? Whatever, Still have a line of people. Look, by then things had kind of slowed down, and like I said, thankfully we were all cut up on food. And then this guy comes over, he's like, can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah, what now? I just finished puberty. Still in the middle of it. What do you want? And so this guy handed me his card. He's like, just so you know, I'm like a narcotics officer and I witnessed everything that happened here. So if you ever need backup on what a dick that guy was, let me know. I'm like, thank you so much. So that did feel to me like a big USA. You know, I was like, I put in the good fight. It was so, how much time do I have? None. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I timed that perfectly. I don't know, I didn't see a light, so I was like, anyways, you're welcome. I fought the Russians. My name is Sean. Thank you so much.